The Emperor, you know what? And they both have very similar energies with the King of Wands here, and we have the Emperor here. They're so similar to each other in their energies. The Emperor, you know, the boss, the father figure, the authority figure in the tarot, he takes control. My way or the highway. He brings order to a situation. He's not used to consulting with other people. He's not doing things by committee. He wouldn't be an emperor then. He you know, makes that call. He decides what needs to happen. What I love about the Emperor in this deck, and especially if you have a look here, he's looking out across here. It's almost as if, you know, he's looking, and that's the past that we have here, the foundation. So he's looking out over it. And I love him in this because he's still wearing his armor. He's still dressed for battle. Yes, he's an emperor. Yes, he's kind of old and kind of, you know, grizzled, and he just looks like he's been through it. He's been there a long time, but that motherfucker is still ready to fight. He's still ready to go. You know, I love this emperor in this deck. There's something about him that's like, yeah, don't be fooled by how old I am. Don't be fooled by how much I've gone through. I'm still ready to fight. You want to bring it? Bring it. And I get that with the King of Wands as well. So with this guy here coming up, it's very strong, guys. Now, it may be, especially with those two cards that flew out at the beginning, that you are trying to bring some stability to your life. You are trying to, with that, you know, sometimes when we take a break, it's not a sign of weakness. It's recouping your energies, getting that plan together, making yourself strong. And I talked about this in the outro, getting yourself to a place where you can rise up even stronger, right? You can go forward stronger. And with the Emperor coming up, and now some of you may be at a very mundane level, and I don't read the energies like that usually. If it comes up, I'll say it. But it may be that, you know, you're dealing with someone who's a little bit bossy, who's not compromising, because that's the downside of the Emperor. But I'm not really seeing that here. I'm seeing that as your energy, especially with the Nine of Cups coming up there. This very uncompromising energy that's coming up. And when you're being uncompromising about your wish, the heart's desire, what's wrong with that, right? So at the heart of your reading with the focus, we have the Eight of Pentacles. This is what you're working on. You know, a lot of effort is going into this. Very detailed work, very focused on this. I'm going to make it work. I mean, the whole thing with this guy is he's the apprentice and he's trying to gain mastery. And it's an 8, so he's put in a lot of effort. But have a look, you know, he's always focused on the pentacle right in front of him. He's like trying to get it perfect because he wants mastery in this. But that's just it. The Emperor and the King of Wands, they both do have mastery in whatever it is. So it's kind of, I guess, with the sense, with this Eight of Pentacles, it's like, keep working on this, keep going on this. You're almost there. We have an 8, we have a 9. So there's progression coming in here. Whatever this is, and it can be you're working on a relationship, working on yourself, working on, I don't know, work, right? But have a look. He's looking at that. It's almost as if for some of you, it's the boss looking at the worker. So you might be that person looking at how much effort is someone else putting in. I don't usually get that, right? My readings are very much about the person or the people that I'm reading for. But these two feel like separate energies. They may not be. It might be you kind of evaluating the work that you put in yourself. So you're having a look at it with that kind of very stern look, like, what am I doing? What's the effort that I put in? And I don't mean like the 7 of Pentacles where you're looking at the rewards. This is the actual work itself. Do you enjoy what you do? You know, is this what you want to be doing? Whether it's a relationship, because, you know, all relationships take work. That's one of the things I don't like about this whole like soulmate thing. And when people get caught up in that, because they just think it's going to be perfect. And it isn't. Soulmate relationships, they take more work sometimes than someone that you don't think is a soulmate relationship. Because it forces us to look at ourselves, right? But with this kind of, have a look, it's the way he's looking at that, you know, how much work are you doing? Have you got mastery over this yet? We have justice coming up in the past. This is about fairness. This is about balance, right? Compromise what's right for everyone. This is about justice being done through the truth. Now, I get the sense that for some of you, that's the work that's been done. The work that's been put in is to kind of gain some measure of stability in your life, whatever that area may be in your relationships. I mean, for some of you, it might be that there was an issue. You recourse to the law, right? Justice can indicate that. Or this can be marriages or divorces, like anything that kind of balances things out. And this could be last week, last month, last year. It just shows the foundation. Now, this is Aries. This is Libra. They're opposites, right? This is the I. This is the we. I get the sense when the Emperor comes up here as the underlying energy for the week, and the Justice is coming up as the past or foundation. Done with compromising. Done with compromising. I'll do it myself. I know what I'm doing. And that's not in a bad way. I don't think it's cutting anyone out. I don't think it's doing any of that. It's just, I've tried to be fair to everyone. I've, balanced my own scales. That's what justice can be showing here. But now I need to look at what I've done, what I'm achieving out of this, and take control of that. This all feels like very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not steady work, but when you've been kind of just not mindless even, because there's a purpose to it with the Eight of Pentacles. That's why you don't mind doing it, because you know where it's going. You're doing it for your long-term stability or security, but there might have been practical reasons for being this way. And now the focus is very much shifting on the self, Because it's very interesting to me where I said, that's the I, that's the we, right? Aries, Libra. What have we got coming up in the present? We have the Nine of Cups. That is your heart's desire. So whatever this was out of this situation, it's helped you to understand what it is that you want, what your wish is, what your heart's desire is. Now, for some of you with the Nine of Cups coming up here, and I don't usually see this. Usually I think this is about understanding what your heart's desire is. Some of you might actually feel that you have everything that you need right now. And I know that sounds pretty remarkable. There's people saying no, because we are so used to hearing people saying, I want this, I want that. I'm trying to manifest this. Where's the relationship? Why can't I get the job? I need more money, like whatever it is, right? And this can indicate that, because when we can identify what our heart desires. But why would the Emperor be sat up here and with just the scales are balanced here? So either some of you have a new wish. Others of you, I get the sense that you actually out of this balance has come, something, because this guy in the Nine of Cups, he has more than enough. This can be the card for gluttony, he has everything. He has so many cups here. That's why he always looks so smug and satisfied. Some of you might feel that way. And I was just telling someone the other day, actually, that, I kind of feel in my life at the moment that I don't really want for anything. I'm good where I am. And they were like, oh my God, you're so lucky and blah, blah, blah. And I had to explain that, from the last 6 months, nothing has actually changed in my life. None of the people, none of the work that I do, my bank balance, my marital status, nothing has changed. I'm still single, nothing has physically changed in my life. And yet everything has changed. I do feel like this, that I have more than enough because I changed, right? And that might be what's happened for some of you, that you've kind of gone from this trying to make sure it's balanced and right and fair for everyone to kind of what works for me, what works for me. And that's not to say you're on your own. That's not to say any of that. But the Emperor is in control. He is in control. Now, this can play out a number of different ways. I mean, is he looking at the Eight of Pentacles to see how much more work do I need to put in so I can take control and make my wishes come true? Yes, it can be that. Or, I relied on other people to balance my scales, but now I think I know what I can do myself to get my wish, to have this feeling, to have what my heart desires. But I will say this, when you want to manifest anything, and the Nine of Cups is a card of manifestation, so often we can desire or want, and I've talked about this in Podcast Ramble, so go listen to it if you haven't already. We can want so much, but we forget to be grateful for what we have right now. And that sense of gratitude for what you have right now, that kind of exponentially kind of helps your manifestation kind of grow and come in even quicker. Because you have that sense of, oh, wow, I'm so blessed. I'm so lucky, right? That's Nine of Cups. And maybe that's why you feel more in control, more able to take control or bring order to whatever the situation was. I just get the sense really strongly that here it relied on someone else. Now it doesn't. It relies on you. And you're good with that. You're good with that. Overall, some people won't be. Some people are the Emperor, right? And none of the cards are good or bad. Even the Nine of Cups, like I said, yes, it can be your wish. Yes, it can be your heart's desire. Yes, it can be what makes you happy. This can also be greed. That you want more. You want more. It's never enough. So no, there's no good or bad card. It's just how we use that energy. He can be responsible, brings order to a situation, takes care of everyone. Like, you know, he's very strong in who he is, but he can also be ruthless. He can be stubborn, not willing to listen to anyone else. So it depends on how we use it. But overall, it's coming up very positively. I think this is a nice change from this Justice, and nothing wrong with Justice card. But sometimes we have to get ourselves right before we can give to anyone else or consider anyone else's needs. So if you understand what your heart's desire is, and it may have changed, you know, there's been a lot of shifts, a lot of changes recently. What happens after that? Well, we have the Six of Cups. Now, for those of you that are trying to manifest a change, this kind of says, you know, think back to a time when you were the happiest. That's the Six of Cups. It's nostalgia. It's, you know, childlike joy. It doesn't have to mean that's, you know, it never is unhappy memories. I always see this as happy memories, but it's what we think of those happy memories, right? Because for some people, they look at the happy memories and they think, oh, my happy days are gone. You know, I'm having to do everything by myself now. Wasn't it nice when I had this kind of sense of relating to someone else? Maybe before the divorce, maybe when I was married, maybe when I was working in a team, I was a contractor, right? This can be contracts, Justice, sometimes. I was working with other people, and now I'm on my own boss. I'm having to do everything myself. If I don't put in the work, it doesn't happen. You know, that can be that sense happening here. Even though the memories are happy of solid times, but it's like the happy days are gone in the past, but they're not. Especially with next to the Nine of Cups, the Six of Cups is telling you that you can use that. You can use those past memories as fuel in your engine to propel you forward. But if you had those happy times in the past, why can you not have them again, right? Why would you not be able to do it again? Nothing in nature happens just once. For some of you, especially with that Four of Swords and Five of Cups that, you know, fell out at the beginning, if there has been a sense of mourning, going through a difficult phase, this is definitely coming out of that. This is when in Six of Cups, we can look back at even something that was difficult and we have our rose tinted glasses on a little bit and we think, okay, we can do this. You might be looking back at all the work that you've done with the Eight of Pentacles sat above this and thinking, wow, you know, look at how much I achieved. I tried to be an apprentice, you know, I tried to learn something and I've learned it. I know how to do this now. Six of Cups, yes, it can be revisiting a situation. Someone can come up in our lives, maybe someone from the past, but, you know, sometimes we meet people. And I haven't talked about this for a while. I used to talk about it a lot, but energy hopping. Have you ever met someone and it's almost as if, you know, you're looking into the eyes of the face is totally different, but they almost word for word reminding you of someone else, or their energy is very similar. That can happen with this. Someone reminds you of something from the past, or a situation comes up that's similar to the past. But it's almost like in the past, you needed this, you needed the balance. But now you're balanced in yourself and you kind of bring that to the situation. I kind of feel that with the Emperor here. Now, what's the advice? The advice is the King of Wands. Some of you might be dealing with a fire sign. Like I said, we have Aries here. We have Libra here. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius with the King of Wands. We are in Leo season. But as an advice card, it's telling you to be like the King of Wands. Be like the King of Wands. He is, I mean, I love him. And if you guys know, this is my favorite King of Wands. Just look at him. He is amazing. He is spectacular. But he's not good at this. He's not going to compromise and do all this. He knows what he wants. I mean, you can almost see him eyeing up something. Yeah, I want that. I'm going to have it. And he's about to get up and go get it. Like, he doesn't understand that he can't have what he wants. He's very entrepreneurial. He's very passionate. He's very creative. And it's, I mean, with this, knowing what your heart's desire is, and with this kind of get up and go, I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go make it happen. I'm going to express it. Nothing can stop me. All right. So we've got very defensive energies coming up. This is about conflict, Five of Wands. It can be internal conflict or conflict with people around us. But this is also that card of no more. I'm not taking any more shit. This is where you have the higher ground and you kind of, things might be coming at you from every angle, but you're able to push them off. Now, these are coming up for this, for the Six of Cups. Why is there, I mean, I don't know if there's some conflict from the past that comes back. That I will say this for someone, because it's coming up. Something that you thought you had balanced out and restored. And this is, if you're not experiencing this in your life right now, This is not your message. This is going to be maybe for one person out there. Because if I see it, I will say it, right? You've worked really hard, balanced the scales. You know what your heart's desire is, and something comes back. Now, this is, I don't think it's unpleasant. Remember, these are not predicting stuff. They're explaining why the Six of Cups is coming out. And it kind of feels like maybe you're looking back at a situation that caused internal conflict. That, you know, there were other people maybe telling you what to do. And who the hell would tell an Aquarius what to do? Like, people don't do that. Rule number 1, right? Don't tell me what to do. 5 of Wands, it is that internal conflict. And this is like, maybe you had to stand up for yourself. And there was resolution here, or maybe an apology or something. But it's almost as if whatever this was, now for the first time, you can look back at it with peace or, you know, with nostalgia and think, oh, it was okay. There's a measure of peace coming in. A measure of putting the past to rest. You're not going to have to deal with this again. It's like you're done with it. No one's going to tell the King of Wands what to do. I mean, there might be some idiots that would, but who the hell would tell the King of Wands what to do? Does he look like he'd listen? So this is about really knowing what your own heart's desire is and confidently going after it. Expressing whatever it is that you have to express. There's no wait and see energy here. There's no wait and see energy here. There's no waiting for someone to come and rescue you here. There's none of that. There's none of that. It's all very solo energy. I mean, if we're looking at the Six of Cups, that's looking back in the past. And the explanation is when you were defensive, when you had to deal with this kind of conflict. You're beyond that now. You're beyond that. And has to be a reason why you're being reminded of that. I do feel like it's a situation that comes out now. There's almost like a Wheel of Fortune energy on top of all of this. A situation that comes back round again. Doesn't have to be with the same people or even in the same place. And I know I haven't talked about relationships or work because this can apply to anything. You know, whatever that situation is, you are different now. You are different. You're the King of Wands. So we got 2. Spiritual connection. This relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. 6 of Cups can be a past life connection. You know, someone that we feel like, even if you don't believe in past lives, someone that we feel like we've known forever. Love who you are. You are a divine and wonderful person deserving all of the wonderful things that life has to offer. And I kind of think that's the importance of these two that come up, that it doesn't matter what happened in the past, guys. You have this major arcana energy here, right, of justice. Justice was done. It might have been that injustice happened before that, but those scales are balanced. That karmic connection. For some of you, I'm going to say this. For those of you that are in soulmate connections, and you're not going to want to hear this, but listen to me. It's one of the soulmate cards. Whatever soulmates mean to you. You know I don't usually talk about soulmates because people, they have some very bizarre concepts of what, and we talk at cross purposes because I mean one thing, you guys, you know, might interpret it as something else. But for me, I believe we have dozens and dozens of soulmates. This is one contract, soulmate contract, whatever, that played out. It played out. Some of you got that connection. Some of you were done with it and you started, you know, your heart's desire here. You had a new dream, a new wish. Solo energy, right? With the Emperor coming in. But I kind of feel that for some of you, there's that, and it's almost like you meet someone else. And that's where the conflict comes in, right? Because this might have been a difficult situation. Yes, you put it to rest. Yes, you played it out. It's hard though, because when we meet soulmates, when we have that kind of spiritual connection, we kind of feel like, oh my God, that's my person, my one and only. I have people saying that to me all the time, that, you know, no, that's my one true love. Like, you know, and I think they shortchange themselves because we have so many people that we can connect with in our lives. And it's amazing. Can you imagine you feel that way about one person and you can again? No matter what happens there, you can feel that way again. And I get that for some. That's going to throw some people. But it's about being the King of Wands. What's your passion? Expressing. Just express. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about, you know, doing anything else, because the underlying energy is the Emperor. He goes forward how he wants to go forward. Love who you are. Follow how you feel about this situation, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Right. Whenever TikTok comes up, there's a sense that of, you know, I need to get it done. This is not happening fast enough, etc., etc. That's what TikTok says. Now, but the card itself, it reminds you that time is an illusion, right? And I say this all the time. I said it in a post on Instagram just this week, that the past, you know, we are everything that we have been, we are everything that we will be, we are. So it's again leading me to this King of Wands energy, where it's just about express who you are right now. Take the action that you want to take right now, because don't forget, wands are action. You got a lot of wands energy that came up here. Yeah, you might have a sense of nostalgia. Yeah, you might have a sense of, oh my God, I've known this person forever, or wow, this situation's come back round again. But we always have infinite chances, right? We think that, you know, oh my God, I missed my chance, or it's not happening fast enough. It always happens when we're ready for it to happen. I said that right at the beginning, right? It always happens when we're ready for it to happen. And again, see, this is coming up. There is a balance between activity and rest, ebb and flow. You can't have one without the other. You can't have one without the other. If you are faced with an obstacle right now, the best course is surrender and non-resistance. Soon enough, you'll see how easy it is to flow around it. Now is one of those times when you must trust the river of your life. Go with the flow, and in no time you'll reach what you have your heart and hopes set on. That's the 9 of Cups. Just remember, Spirit will keep your head above water and will direct the currents. When it's time for a greater effort, TikTok, right? You'll know exactly when you'll need to work those manifesting muscles. It can be challenging to master the flow cycles of your life, but as you develop your skills, affluence will be yours. Enjoy the flow and trust those currents, for we're right there with you with our little umbrella drinks, smiling at your success. Love you so very much. And guys, I want to say this as well. I mean, I could bloody hell keep talking about this reading, but I want you to think about that. Remember, we got the 4 of Swords at the beginning and the 5 of Cups. That is rest. It's okay to rest. I had to rest myself this weekend. But that's what TikTok is. You know, there's a time to rest. There's a time for everything. But we kind of force ourselves thinking, oh no, I have to do this. What if it doesn't happen? But if you are authentic within yourself, you know, listen to what your heart's telling you in that moment. What do I want right now? You know, he might want to sit in his throne and just chill out there for a bit. Then do that. He might want to go boogie on the dance floor. Then go do that. But when you're authentic, when you are in tune with the cycles of your life, you will only do that. You know, you will always know what to do. There's no shoulds. He doesn't understand what a should is. He doesn't understand what a should is. There's only want. I want. That's what they know. And I kind of feel like that's the energy here. Everything happens, right? There's so much going on here. Your heart's desire, thinking back, you know, conflicts that you've overcome, balance that you've achieved, work that you've put in. If you've done all of that, if you have even a spiritual connection, take it down to the core, take it down to the basic. Who are you? Do you love who you are right now? And how do you feel about that? What is the thing that you want to do right now? Forget time, forget pressures, forget, you know, doing what's right for everyone else. Even though I should do this or I need to finish this. King of Wands, right? Advice. What do you want right now?